Man, that little Helldivers 2 guide I made turned out pretty well. I'm pretty proud of this one. Why not upload it? I'm sure that absolutely nothing could possibly happen today to make these tips totally irrelevant. Right? Wow! I can't believe it! Everything in my guide is totally wrong now! So, if you didn't already know, Helldivers 2 got a little update, particularly concerning the railgun's armor penetration and damage to armor. This obviously makes the old go-to strat of using 2 railgun shots to strip a charger's leg armor off a bit more tricky to pull off. Lucky for us, there's still a bunch of other very effective ways to take on chargers after this patch, but I figured I'd touch on using the railgun first, since I've seen a lot of people online arguing about it post-patch and wanted to clear a couple things up. Now, many of you divers have already noticed that the railgun bounces off charger armor in safe mode, but you can still pull off the old leg armor removal trick with it. You just need to make sure that your railgun is set to unsafe mode. If you're on mouse and keyboard, you do this by holding R and right-clicking on your mouse, or if you're on controller, you hold X or square depending on what controller you have, and then you hit the right directional button. When charging the railgun in unsafe mode, you want to make sure that you let the charge bar get almost to the top. Usually anywhere in the final square of the bar is fine, so about 90% charge or more. This will take about an average of 3 shots in my experience, depending on how close to the line you want to get with blowing yourself up. And after that, you can just do what you did before with this strategy where you shoot the unarmored leg until the charger goes down. But just because it's possible to do this doesn't mean that I would recommend this method anymore. The extra charge time it takes really makes a difference, especially on higher difficulties where you have multiple chargers coming at you at times. You often just don't have the time to charge the railgun and make your shots when things get really dicey. And that can often lead to situations like this. And to boot, since you have to let the charge get so high for this method to work well, you also risk the railgun blowing up and turning you into chunky salsa if you let the charge hit 100%. In light of this, naturally I started looking for what new methods I could use instead. That's when I saw a teammate do something that really activated my almonds. The Flamethrower! Of course! Humanity's oldest tactic, killing it with fire. Plus, it helps that the Flamethrower and damage over time from being on fire was buffed significantly this patch. With the Flamethrower, instead of worrying about penetrating the armor, you can rely on a weapon that doesn't need to interact with it. It ignores the armor entirely, so you can fire away anywhere at the charger and it'll go down after a bit. Though if you're not big on precise aiming, I would be prepared to dive and dodge a bit during the fight. If you have the chance, you can aim the Flamethrower at one of the charger's legs to take it down faster. Since you don't need to take the leg armor off first, you can kill chargers very fast by focusing down on a leg. But that's if you're in ideal circumstances that let you take the extra time to aim and focus it down like that, which, let's be real, doesn't happen often on higher difficulties. Speaking of other options, there is a second method that I'd recommend for taking out chargers. Using the arc thrower. Like the Flamethrower, the arc thrower's arcs of lightning ignore armor entirely. You can just spam it until the charger goes down. This can take a bit longer to take the charger down, but if you're able to keep your distance and time your dodges well, with a bit of time, the charger will surely go down. If you can get another diver with an arc thrower to focus damage on the charger too, you can take it down a lot faster. Some added upsides of this method are that the arc rifle has infinite ammo, just a short charge time before it can fire, and it'll arc to other targets nearby, which can be great for crowd control around a charger. If you're not careful though, it can easily lead to some not-so-friendly fire incidents if a teammate is too close. Finally, with Super Earth securing the Quan, there's a new option for dealing with chargers.
Si Optimum Pride! Fucking inang yan, Optimum Pride!
That's right, the classic sci-fi tactic of the BFR. Big fucking robot. This baby has so much liberation in it, you're going to be freeing chargers from this mortal coil faster than you can say democracy. It comes with a bunch of rocket pods that can make quick work of charger armor, and it only takes about 2 to 4 rockets to take one out. You can shoot a rocket at one of their legs to strip the armor off, and then shred the unarmored leg with the mech's machine gun instead to save on rockets, though this method also works if you hit other parts of the charger, knocking the armor off and making a weak spot that you and your teammates can shoot. Though, honestly, with the mech being free for everyone to use for a bit, it was kind of hard to get clips of this in action, since usually when a charger appeared, it would be hit by so much firepower that it was hard to tell much about exactly what killed it, other than the fact that the charger was now in chunks spread out all over my quadrant. While I was editing this video, another patch dropped. Now thankfully this didn't change up anything I had in the guide so far, but it does introduce one more way of very effectively dealing with chargers. The devs reduced the charger's head HP. This was expressly so that a single, well-placed shot from an expendable anti-tank missile or the recoilless rifle can take out a charger. I did my best to get some footage of me doing this myself, but I couldn't reliably hit my shots due to a terminal condition known as a skill issue. But if you have the aim to pull this off, this method could prove to be the most effective way of taking out chargers. Keep these tips in mind next time you take on the Terminids, divers, and you'll be going from saying,
"That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over."
to